I'm going to pre-record today's class because the watercolor that we're going to be using today can take a while and I don't want you guys to get antsy. So I'm going to pre-record this so that you can come back to it, review it, but not have to, watch me live to where you get too antsy and you want to work on your work. It seems to make more sense for today, okay? So thank you so much for joining me in our October virtual class. We have these every month for free. And we've been getting a lot of participants, so I'm really excited to always check in with you guys every month and make art with you. Today we are doing work inspired by Byron Browne. Here's the work we have at the Blandon. You can come see it. It's at the top floor, in the gallery at the top floor. I thought that this work was super cool and really a good artwork to do near Halloween time. So yeah, it's kind of creepy, it's kind of mysterious, it has all of these dark colors. The night sky is kind of what it looks like. It's creature-like. So it's just, the artwork is something that I feel like we don't really understand a lot about what's going on here. And so I really liked it. I thought it was good for Halloween. And when I look at it, it makes me think of like imaginary creatures, aliens, robots, things that we just don't understand but are fun to imagine about. So here are some more artworks by Byron. I always like to show you guys multiple pieces of the same artist so that you can get more ideas. So this is also very creature-like. Many more shapes going on though, but this looks like a little eye in the center, which is really cool. And then I found this one too, and this one has like tentacle-looking things coming from it, so I thought that that was really cool. And then behind me is my robot alien mural for you, just to give you guys some more ideas for your artwork today. Okay, so I did one before. I always like to practice for you guys. And mine is like a bunny mixed with, I think it's a stegosaurus, if I remember my dinosaurs right. So I love this one. I love how I fused two very different animals into one. I hope you guys like it too. I really wanted to focus on where does my bunny stegosaurus live. So I wanted it to be like in a jungle environment at night to kind of match the spookiness of this artwork that we're working from today. So with the watercolor, I added orange and then I blended into red. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that today. It's really easy and it makes your work look really cool, okay? But that was my first go at this. Right now, I am working on something a little more unrealistic, some kind of creature that we probably wouldn't recognize. And so this is more of like a tentacle alien spiral thing that I came up with just now. So that's what I'm going to be working on for today's class, okay? So first thing you want to do, you got your instructions and you can follow them, or if another way works for you, that's fine. But I would draw out your creature first, okay? And one thing I've found with using these crayons, well, I'll explain that later, but use your crayon to draw out your creature. That's what I would recommend because it holds the watercolor in place, and I'll show you that soon, okay? So start drawing out your creature. I'm just going to kind of pretend that you guys are following me, even if you aren't, that's okay. And once you get your creature drawn, you're going to want to add the watercolor into it. You want to get that part done before you start doing your background, okay? So my creature is drawn. I added lines and stuff in the creature to separate the watercolor. I'm going to show you guys how I did that right now, okay? So if you want to add different areas of color into your creature and you want them to separate really well, I would designate those with your crayon, okay? So let me show you what happens when you add watercolor into those separate areas. What color should I use? And then so to use your watercolor, you need to add water into the little bowl I gave you. Get your brush wet and start adding water from your brush into the color you want to use. And once you have like a puddle of color, you know you're good to go. Okay, it takes a second, but I feel like I'm ready. Okay, so I just want to add a little red. And if you're doing this with me, you will see that it doesn't go over the crayon line. The crayon line keeps the color in place, which is super cool. It's really easy to stay inside of the lines. So this is what I'm doing right now. The crayon line that I made up here is keeping the watercolor within the lines I made, and it's just really easy to paint and not go over the lines. So it's just an idea. You don't have to do that. You know, if you want it to be a different look than that, that's totally fine. Just an idea. So I'm going to watercolor just a little bit of this to give you guys time if you're following along with me, and then I'll move on to my background. Another thing that I like to do with this watercolor is blend two colors together. If you add a color and it's still pretty wet on your paper and it hasn't dried yet, you can add another color and blend it into that. Let me show you. So right now I have some red. It's still pretty wet, especially at the top where I just added. Red goes really well with orange and yellow. They blend together really well. So I'm going to try some orange. Blend that into the red. And you just keep mixing them together until there's an even transition between the two colors. That's good. So red into orange. Just as long as all the paint is wet, it will mix together just fine. Now I'm going to go back to my green and blue, and when you're doing that, you want to clean your brush. You might want to change your water. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I don't really feel the need right now. If you're using your brush onto your paper and it's sticking, or it's like stopping on the paper, that means that you don't have enough water. You're not working with enough water. So you need to get your brush more wet, and you need to add water to your watercolor. Now see, this blue and this green can't really mix together that well because the green is already dry, and that's okay. They don't always need to mix. And I want to show you one more cool thing with watercolor, and then I'm going to move on to my background. The water determines how light and how dark your color is going to be. So right now, I have a lot of deep blue because I didn't use as much water. If I use more water than paint, I just keep adding water to what I already have, it gets lighter and lighter. So that's really cool if you want like light blue, light red, dark red. Just add more water if you want a lighter color. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, I'm gonna move on to my background. I don't want you guys to have to sit here and watch me paint for an hour. Just remember, in case I forget to tell you, that once you get your creature watercolored, whatever it is, you can always add crayon over that watercolor once it's dry. And that's kind of what it looks like Byron is doing in his artwork, is he's layering pastels or crayons onto paint, and it's super cool. So the crayon will show up on top of dry watercolor, and it makes a really cool effect. Okay, so background. I have this squid-like creature. It would be funny if I put it in the sky or something that didn't make sense, so maybe I'm gonna do that. A flying squid, I love it. So I'm again using my crayon. Just making a bunch of clouds. Clean your brush. And I'm making some blue in my clouds, but I also want to add like some purple and pink. And I'm going to mix them together. So while that blue is wet, I'm going to get some purple. I'm going to mix these together. So that's what this is looking like so far. I think I'm going to keep that purple throughout the rest of the cloud. And I want to make it lighter and lighter, so I'm actually just going to use my water and no paint. Love it. Okay, let me try and do a pink cloud, and then I think I will let you guys go. So we only have red here, right? Get some red onto your brush, put it onto your cloud, and then only add water to that, and it will start getting lighter and lighter. Okay, and I want to add a little more purple because I love the purple and the pink together. Wonderful. Okay. If I kept going, what I would do is I would make this at night because I really just love the dark, kind of creepy theme that is going with Byron's artwork. I don't really want my artwork to look, you know, not spooky. I want it to be spooky. So I'm going to add black watercolor, purple watercolor in the background, maybe add some stars, add some crayons over it, just like some fun lines to give it some texture. In my first piece, I actually added crayon in my bunny stegosaurus. I added orange crayon on top of here and red crayon here, and it gave it this really cool texture, so maybe you guys want to try that. Okay, I think that's it. Like I said, either follow along with me in this video, pause when you need to, or you can follow the list I made you guys. But I really want to see your artwork. Every time you guys share it, I get so happy. So please share your artwork in the comments. I would love to see it. I hope to see you in person classes too. We have a lot of cool sculpture, ceramics, mixed media classes kind of like this coming up that I would love to see you guys at, okay? www.blended.org. Click on the classes tab to enroll and see what we got. See you guys in October. Bye.